family-friendly electric crossover, but also a genuine rival to luxury performance SUVs, such as the Porsche Macan. The very idea that an all-electric crossover could compete with a car from Porsche's prestigious stable would have been laughed at only a decade ago. Yet, here we are with Tesla openly challenging not only traditional automakers, but some of the most respected performance brands in the industry. At first glance, the Model Y Performance may not scream performance SUV with its relatively minimalistic design and understated curves. But beneath that clean surface lies a machine engineered to deliver both instant electric speed and cutting-edge technology. When it comes to performance, the numbers speak loudly. The Tesla Model Y Performance is equipped with a dual-motor all-wheel drive system that delivers blistering acceleration, taking the car from 0 to 60 mph in just around 3.5 seconds, a figure that rivals or even surpasses many traditional performance SUVs, including certain trims of the Porsche Macan. This kind of speed from a relatively family-oriented SUV is nothing short of staggering, and it is a testament to the inherent advantages of electric propulsion. Instant torque delivery gives the Model Y Performance an urgency that no turbocharged or supercharged petrol engine can replicate in quite the same way. The top speed sits around 155 mph, which is more than sufficient for any realistic driving scenario, particularly when most buyers are more interested in how quickly it can launch off the line or overtake on a motorway. Where the Porsche Macan has the advantage of decades of sports car engineering distilled into a compact SUV, Tesla strikes back with sheer electric force and a software ecosystem that constantly improves the car through over-the-air updates. Driving dynamics are another important area to evaluate, as raw speed alone does not make a car better than a Porsche. The Macan has long been praised as one of the best handling SUVs on the market, with a chassis that feels agile and connected to the road, providing the driver with the kind of confidence normally reserved for sports cars. In comparison, the Tesla Model Y Performance feels heavier, as one would expect from a battery-powered vehicle. But Tesla has worked hard to ensure that the car feels responsive and planted in corners. The low center of gravity, courtesy of the battery pack mounted under the floor, significantly reduces body roll and gives the Model Y a surprising degree of composure through bends. While it may not deliver the same tactile steering feedback as a Porsche, it makes up for it with stability, traction, and the sheer ease with which it puts down power. Add in Tesla's advanced traction control and dual-motor torque vectoring, and the result is an SUV that feels remarkably quick, not just in a straight line but also on twisty roads, where electric power delivery makes corner exits almost addictive. Practicality is another key aspect where the Tesla Model Y Performance attempts to justify its place in a competitive market. Unlike the Porsche Macan, which prioritizes driving pleasure sometimes at the expense of interior space, the Model Y offers a roomier cabin with flexible seating arrangements and a vast cargo area, making it far more family-friendly. The panoramic glass roof opens up the interior, giving it a spacious and airy feel, while the rear seats fold down to create a huge loading space for luggage, bicycles, or whatever a modern family might need to carry. Tesla's minimalist interior design philosophy may not appeal to everyone, but it emphasizes function and technology over traditional luxury. The massive central touchscreen is the hub for almost every vehicle control, from navigation to climate settings, and while some critics argue that physical buttons are still more intuitive, Tesla fans love the clean, futuristic feel. Compared to the Porsche Macan's more traditional yet premium interior with tactile switches and luxury finishes, the Tesla feels like it is from another era, prioritizing digital convenience and modernity over old-school craftsmanship. Technology is where Tesla truly sets itself apart. The Model Y Performance comes loaded with features such as Autopilot, an advanced driver assistance system that continues to improve through software updates. Even though full self-driving remains a work in progress, the car's ability to handle lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, and automated lane changes already makes long journeys less stressful. The infotainment system is unmatched in the industry, offering features like streaming services, video games, and even an in-car karaoke mode, reflecting Tesla's unique approach to making cars not just functional, but also entertaining. Regular over-the-air updates mean that the car you buy today may actually get better over time, something no traditional automaker, including Porsche, can match in quite the same way. This technological edge ensures that the Tesla Model Y Performance feels futuristic, while many traditional SUVs, even premium ones, risk feeling outdated after a few years without significant hardware updates. Another critical consideration is range and charging. The Tesla Model Y Performance offers around 303 miles of range on a full charge, depending on driving conditions, which is competitive for its segment. More importantly, Tesla's extensive supercharger network gives owners access to some of the fastest and most reliable charging infrastructure in the world, making long-distance travel far more convenient compared to many rival EVs. Porsche does offer the electric Taycan with access to high-speed charging, but since the Macan is still primarily powered by internal combustion engines in most variants, it cannot compete with Tesla's seamless EV ecosystem. For buyers looking to transition into electric mobility without compromising on practicality and travel convenience, Tesla holds a commanding advantage. Price is another factor where the Tesla Model Y Performance becomes even more interesting. While it is not cheap, it often undercuts the Porsche Macan when comparing performance-oriented trims, especially when factoring in the cost of ownership. Electric vehicles typically have lower running costs due to reduced maintenance requirements and cheaper charging compared to fueling a petrol-powered SUV. Furthermore, in regions with incentives for EVs, the cost-benefit analysis tilts even more in Tesla's favor. The Porsche badge still carries immense prestige and the sense of exclusivity that Tesla cannot fully replicate. But for many buyers, the blend of performance, practicality, and technology at a lower overall cost makes the Tesla extremely appealing. Ultimately, the question of whether the new Tesla Model Y Performance is better than a Porsche Macan depends on what a buyer values most. If the priority is raw driving dynamics, steering feel, and the timeless satisfaction of a finely tuned petrol-powered performance SUV, then the Porsche Macan still has the upper hand. Porsche's heritage and engineering finesse remain unmatched in certain areas. However, if the buyer is looking for a forward-looking vehicle that combines shocking acceleration, futuristic technology, family-friendly practicality, and the benefits of electric mobility, then the Tesla Model Y Performance makes a compelling case that it might actually be the smarter choice. It represents the future of performance SUVs, where instant torque and digital innovation redefine what performance truly means. While Porsche may still win the hearts of purists, Tesla is winning the battle for the future, offering a package that feels more in tune with the evolving needs of modern drivers. In the end, the comparison is not simply about which car is faster or more luxurious. It is about which car defines the direction of the automotive world, and in that regard, the Tesla Model Y Performance is not just keeping up with Porsche, it is arguably leading the way. When comparing the Tesla Model Y Performance with the Porsche Macan in greater depth, it becomes clear that the battle is not only between two vehicles, but between two entirely different philosophies of car making. Porsche comes from a long tradition of internal combustion excellence, a company that has spent decades refining engines, transmissions, and chassis balance to deliver a driver's car in every segment it competes in. Tesla, on the other hand, was born as a disruptor, with no legacy of petrol engines, and has built its reputation on electric propulsion, software, and futuristic design. This clash of heritage versus innovation adds a fascinating dimension to the comparison. The Porsche Macan, despite being one of the smaller models in Porsche's lineup, embodies the brand's DNA, with sharp handling, a driver-focused cabin, and an unmistakable prestige that comes with the badge. The Tesla Model Y Performance, however, aims to rewrite the rules by offering similar levels of speed and excitement in a package that is also environmentally conscious, technologically advanced, and better suited to the everyday needs of modern families. It is almost as though the Macan represents the perfection of the past, while the Model Y represents the arrival of the future, and buyers are caught between these two worlds. One of the most striking differences lies in how each car delivers its sense of excitement. Driving the Porsche Macan is about the engagement between man and machine, with the growl of the engine, the precision of the steering, and the feedback through the chassis all coming together to create an emotional experience. Enthusiasts often argue that such sensory engagement is irreplaceable, and this is one reason why many still prefer high-performance petrol SUVs. The Tesla Model Y Performance, however, excites in an entirely different way. The silence of the motors combined with the sheer violence of its instant acceleration gives it a unique thrill. There is something almost futuristic about pressing the accelerator and being catapulted forward without delay, noise, or drama. For some, this lack of traditional mechanical feedback feels soulless. But for others, it feels like stepping into a new era of driving where efficiency and performance are seamlessly blended. This difference in driving experience means the cars are not just competitors in a segment, but representatives of two fundamentally different definitions of what performance should mean. Ownership experience further sets these two vehicles apart. Tesla has designed the Model Y to be less about traditional car ownership hassles and more about digital convenience. Almost everything can be done through the Tesla app, from checking the car's charge status to preconditioning the cabin or scheduling service. Software updates add new features or improve performance without the owner ever stepping into a dealership. This tech-driven ownership experience appeals to a generation accustomed to smartphones and smart devices, making the Tesla feel like an extension of their digital lifestyle. In contrast, Porsche ownership is steeped in tradition, with strong dealer networks, personalized service, and the prestige of being part of an exclusive brand family. Owning a Porsche Macan is as much about being associated with Porsche's heritage as it is about the car itself. The dealership experience, the Porsche club culture, and the status symbol of the badge cannot be replicated by Tesla, which often operates without traditional dealerships. This creates a fascinating divide in buyer psychology. Tesla owners often view themselves as pioneers embracing the future, while Porsche owners view themselves as guardians of performance heritage. Another angle worth examining is long-term value and brand perception. Historically, Porsche vehicles, including the Macan, have held their value remarkably well, thanks to strong demand, limited production, and the brand's reputation for quality and performance. A well-maintained Macan can command high resale prices years after purchase. Tesla, on the other hand, operates in a rapidly evolving electric vehicle market where technology is advancing quickly. While demand for Tesla vehicles is currently strong, the long-term value retention is less predictable, as new models and competitors constantly emerge. Furthermore, the electric vehicle market is still subject to policy changes, government incentives, and infrastructure development, which can all influence resale values. That said, Tesla's brand has grown into a global icon of innovation, and the sheer demand for its vehicles often keeps resale values surprisingly high despite these uncertainties. It is a delicate balance, but it once again shows how buyers are not just choosing between cars, but between entirely different outlooks on the future of mobility. Comfort and refinement also come into play when judging the two. The Porsche Macan offers a more traditional luxury experience with high-quality leather, meticulous craftsmanship, and an interior designed for tactile satisfaction. The suspension tuning balances comfort with agility, making it suitable both for spirited driving and long-distance cruising. The Tesla Model Y Performance, while comfortable, takes a different approach with its minimalist cabin, lack of buttons, and reliance on digital controls. Some owners love the futuristic, clutter-free design, while others find it lacking in the warmth and craftsmanship of traditional luxury brands. Road noise and ride firmness in the Tesla can sometimes be more noticeable compared to the polished refinement of a Porsche, especially on rougher surfaces. Yet, Tesla owners often forgive these shortcomings because the car feels ahead of its time in technology and convenience. It is almost as if Tesla has redefined luxury not as leather and wood, but as cutting-edge software, connectivity, and futuristic design. Environmental considerations cannot be ignored in this comparison. The Tesla Model Y Performance is fully electric, producing zero tailpipe emissions and representing a step towards a greener automotive future. For environmentally conscious buyers, this alone can be a decisive factor, especially in regions where governments are pushing for stricter emissions regulations and offering incentives for EV adoption. The Porsche Macan, although efficient by internal combustion standards, cannot compete with the zero-emission credentials of Tesla. Porsche is working on electrification with the Taycan and upcoming Macan EV, but as of now, the Tesla holds the clear advantage in this regard. For buyers who want to align their purchases with their environmental values, the Tesla feels like the more responsible choice, without sacrificing performance. Global market trends further highlight Tesla's growing influence. The Model Y has become one of the world's best-selling vehicles, not just among EVs but across all categories, reflecting a massive shift in consumer preferences towards electric vehicles. This widespread success indicates that Tesla has tapped into a global desire for cars that combine sustainability, technology, and practicality. The Porsche Macan, while successful in its own right, remains more of a niche vehicle aimed at luxury performance enthusiasts. Its appeal is strong but limited compared to Tesla's mass-market reach. This does not diminish Porsche's achievement, but it does emphasize that Tesla is not only competing with traditional automakers, but is also reshaping the very definition of mainstream success in the automotive industry. Ultimately, the debate over whether the Tesla Model Y performance is better than a Porsche Macan comes down to priorities. For those who value tradition, craftsmanship, and the irreplaceable thrill of a finely tuned combustion engine, the Macan will likely remain the more appealing choice. It represents decades of refinement and the prestige of driving a Porsche. For those who embrace innovation, digital integration, environmental responsibility, and the thrill of instant electric power, the Tesla Model Y performance makes a case that is difficult to ignore. Both vehicles are outstanding in their own right, but they appeal to fundamentally different buyer mindsets. One looks back proudly at what performance driving has meant, while the other looks forward boldly to what it will become. The fascinating thing is that, in today's automotive landscape, buyers no longer have to compromise. They can choose the past, the future, or perhaps even both. And in that choice lies the beauty of the modern car market, where tradition and innovation stand side by side, offering something for everyone. The conversation about whether the Tesla Model Y performance is better than a Porsche Macan naturally extends into the broader context of what the automotive world is experiencing today. We are living in a period of transition, where combustion engines, which have dominated the industry for over a century, are gradually giving way to electrification, sustainability, and software-driven vehicles. In this environment, the Tesla Model Y performance represents not only a product, but also a movement, while the Porsche Macan represents legacy, prestige, and the enduring appeal of traditional driving experiences. When you sit behind the wheel of a Macan, there is a sense of connection to Porsche's history, a heritage rooted in motorsport, engineering precision, and the philosophy that every Porsche must feel like a sports car regardless of its body style. The Tesla Model Y, on the other hand, is a product of Silicon Valley thinking, where the car is not merely a mechanical machine but a digital device on wheels that continuously evolves updates and integrates into your lifestyle much like a smartphone. The comparison between the two vehicles therefore becomes less about raw specifications and more about what kind of future you see yourself belonging to: the emotional world of petrol-powered passion, or the futuristic realm of digital intelligence and sustainable performance. The way consumers view performance has already started to change. In the past, performance was measured by engine displacement, horsepower figures, exhaust notes, and manual gear shifts that gave drivers complete control. Porsche has mastered this formula, creating some of the most iconic sports cars in history and infusing that DNA into the Macan. However, Tesla has redefined performance with a different vocabulary: instant torque, acceleration times that rival supercars, and silent efficiency that still delivers adrenaline. The Model Y performance. S ability to accelerate faster than many high-end combustion cars challenges the traditional definition of what makes a vehicle thrilling. For younger generations who grew up in a digital-first era, the thrill of speed combined with the novelty of futuristic technology often. The conversation about whether the Tesla Model Y performance is better than a Porsche Macan naturally extends into the broader context of what the automotive world is experiencing today. We are living in a period of transition, where combustion engines, which have dominated the industry for over a century, are gradually giving way to electrification, sustainability, and software-driven vehicles. In this environment, the Tesla Model Y performance represents not only a product, but also a movement, while the Porsche Macan represents legacy, prestige, and the enduring appeal of traditional driving experiences. When you sit behind the wheel of a Macan, there is a sense of connection to Porsche's history, a heritage rooted in motorsport, engineering precision, and the philosophy that every Porsche must feel like a sports car regardless of its body style. The Tesla Model Y, on the other hand, is a product of Silicon Valley thinking, where the car is not merely a mechanical machine but a digital device on wheels that continuously evolves updates and integrates into your lifestyle much like a smartphone. The comparison between the two vehicles therefore becomes less about raw specifications and more about what kind of future you see yourself belonging to: the emotional world of petrol-powered passion, or the futuristic realm of digital intelligence and sustainable performance. the way consumers view performance has already started to change. In the past, performance was measured by engine displacement, horsepower figures, exhaust notes, and manual gear shifts that gave drivers complete control. Porsche has mastered this formula, creating some of the most iconic sports cars in history and infusing that DNA into the Macan. However, Tesla has redefined performance with a different vocabulary: instant torque, acceleration times that rival supercars, and silent efficiency that still delivers adrenaline. The Model Y performance. S ability to accelerate faster than many high-end combustion cars challenges the traditional definition of what makes a vehicle thrilling. For younger generations who grew up in a digital-first era, the thrill of speed combined with the novelty of futuristic technology often outweighs the nostalgia of roaring engines. This cultural shift is perhaps the strongest indicator that Tesla has struck a chord with the future, while Porsche continues to preserve the best of the past. Long-term usability and lifestyle integration also reveal stark differences. With the Model Y performance, Tesla owners are drawn into an ecosystem where their car communicates seamlessly with their app, integrates charging into trip planning, and provides entertainment options that make even idle time enjoyable. Supercharging stations are strategically placed to make long journeys as simple as possible, and features like Sentry Mode or over-the-air diagnostics give peace of mind that your car is constantly monitored and improving. Owning a Tesla feels like being part of a technology ecosystem, similar to how Apple users feel part of a broader network of products and services. Porsche, by contrast, appeals to customers who value tradition, exclusivity, and the tactile sense of luxury. The dealership network, the after-sales support, and the brand prestige create a more conventional luxury ownership experience that many still consider more reassuring and refined. This divergence illustrates how Tesla and Porsche do not just build cars. They cultivate entirely different lifestyles around their vehicles, which is why comparing them is as much about personal identity as it is about automotive performance. Future-proofing is another key aspect where Tesla gains ground. The Model Y performance benefits from constant software updates that introduce new functions, enhance safety, or even improve performance metrics over time. This means that the car you buy today may not be the same car you drive in 3 years, as it can evolve digitally. Few traditional manufacturers have embraced this concept to the same degree, and Porsche, while offering updates, cannot compete with the scale and pace of Tesla's software-driven improvements. Furthermore, with the global push towards banning internal combustion engines in the coming decades, Tesla's fully electric lineup feels aligned with regulatory and societal trends. Porsche is actively working on electrifying its lineup, with the Taycan already showing promise and the upcoming electric Macan on the horizon. But the fact remains that the current Macan in its combustion form is a product nearing the end of its regulatory lifespan in certain markets. Buyers looking for longevity may view the Tesla as the safer long-term bet, while purists who still cherish the feel of combustion engines may prefer the Macan while it is still available. Another interesting point to consider is brand influence and global image. Tesla has become more than just a car manufacturer. It has become a cultural phenomenon, representing innovation, sustainability, and disruption. People who drive Teslas often see themselves as part of a forward-thinking movement, aligning with Elon Musk's vision of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. The car itself becomes a statement, not just about wealth or status, but about values and identity. Porsche, on the other hand, has a different kind of allure, one based on exclusivity, heritage, and association with motorsport excellence. Driving a Porsche communicates refinement, success, and a connection to one of the most respected names in automotive history. In many ways, Tesla and Porsche are equally aspirational, but for different reasons. Tesla represents the aspiration of tomorrow, while Porsche represents the aspiration of tradition and excellence. This duality makes the comparison between the Model Y performance and the Macan particularly captivating, as it shows how two brands can symbolize different forms of prestige in the modern world. It is also important to examine the emotional connection drivers build with their cars. Porsche has always excelled at creating machines that stir emotions. The sound of the engine, the feel of the steering, the craftsmanship of the cabin, all designed to create a bond between driver and vehicle. Many Porsche owners describe their cars as extensions of themselves, machines that reward skill and passion. Tesla takes a different approach, appealing to curiosity, wonder, and the excitement of experiencing cutting-edge technology. The Model Y performance may not give the same mechanical feedback as a Macan, but it offers a futuristic thrill, an almost science fiction-like sense of speed and technology at your fingertips. For some, this is even more emotional because it feels like they are part of a revolution in the automotive world. Both cars are capable of stirring deep emotions, but they do so in fundamentally different ways, once again highlighting that the better choice depends largely on what kind of emotional connection the driver seeks. Looking at the bigger picture, the Tesla Model Y performance versus Porsche Macan debate reflects the crossroads at which the entire industry stands. On one side, heritage brands like Porsche are refining combustion technology to its absolute peak, giving enthusiasts a chance to savor what might be the last great era of petrol-powered cars. On the other side, Tesla and similar innovators are shaping the future, proving that electric cars are not only environmentally friendly, but also thrilling, practical, and aspirational. The buyer of a Macan may be purchasing a piece of history, a symbol of what driving has meant for decades, while the buyer of a Tesla may be investing in a vision of what driving will mean for decades to come. Neither choice is wrong, but the decision reflects personal values and how one views the balance between tradition and progress. In conclusion, the new Tesla Model Y performance makes a powerful case as a rival to the Porsche Macan, not just in terms of raw numbers but in terms of philosophy, lifestyle, and future relevance. It may not replicate the tactile thrill of Porsche's driving heritage, but it redefines performance with its instant speed, technological prowess, and practical advantages. The Macan remains one of the best-handling SUVs ever built, and carries the badge prestige that Tesla cannot match. Yet the Tesla is rewriting the rules, proving that the future of performance can be electric, sustainable, and digitally integrated. The real question may not be whether the Tesla Model Y performance is better than the Porsche Macan, but rather which vision of performance resonates more with today's drivers: the heritage of petrol or the promise of electricity. As the world continues to move towards electrification, Tesla seems to hold the upper hand in defining the next chapter, while Porsche fights to preserve the beauty of the past. Whichever path one chooses, it is undeniable that we are witnessing a golden age of diversity in automotive choices, where the clash of tradition and innovation gives consumers more thrilling options than ever before. The future direction of Tesla and Porsche adds yet another fascinating layer to the debate over whether the Tesla Model Y performance is truly better than a Porsche Macan, because neither company exists in isolation and both are actively shaping their strategies to stay relevant in a rapidly evolving industry. Tesla's approach has always been one of rapid innovation, disruption, and bold vision, where speed of execution and willingness to experiment with ideas set it apart from traditional automakers. This strategy has allowed Tesla to establish itself not just as a car manufacturer, but as a symbol of the electric revolution. The Model Y performance is an outcome of this philosophy, a car that manages to balance blistering acceleration with everyday practicality, designed with the mass market in mind, yet fast enough to scare high-performance SUVs. Porsche, however, is taking a more calculated approach. The Macan, in its combustion form, represents the pinnacle of Porsche's small SUV expertise. But the brand is fully aware that the world is moving toward electrification. Porsche has already made bold moves with the Taycan, its all-electric sports saloon, and is now preparing the next-generation Macan as a fully electric SUV. This upcoming Macan EV will directly challenge the Tesla Model Y performance, bringing Porsche's expertise in chassis tuning, luxury craftsmanship, and motorsport heritage into the electric era. In many ways, Part 4 of this discussion is not simply about the Tesla Model Y performance versus today's Macan, but about Tesla versus Porsche in their long-term vision strategies and ability to capture the hearts and wallets of future car buyers. Tesla's edge in the short term is its established EV infrastructure and brand identity as a pioneer. No other automaker has a charging network as vast and reliable as Tesla's supercharger system, and this gives Tesla owners a sense of confidence and convenience when planning long journeys. The ability to arrive at a supercharger, plug in, and achieve rapid charging with minimal fuss is a huge selling point, and one of the reasons Tesla continues to dominate EV sales globally. Porsche, while part of broader initiatives like Ionity in Europe and Electrify America in the US, does not yet have the same seamless ecosystem. However, Porsche's strength lies in engineering excellence and refinement, and as it transitions into electrification, its focus will likely be on delivering an EV that feels every bit a Porsche, precise, engaging, and luxurious. The upcoming Macan EV will therefore represent Porsche's attempt to merge its heritage with the demands of the electric age. Whether it can match Tesla's affordability, practicality, and software-driven innovation remains to be seen, but what is certain is that the competition will push both brands to new heights. Consumer psychology plays a central role in this rivalry. Tesla buyers are often motivated by a sense of being part of a technological revolution, with ownership framed as an act of progress and environmental responsibility. Driving a Tesla is less about tradition and more about signaling alignment with innovation and the future. This is why many Tesla buyers are first-time premium car owners, people who might not have otherwise bought a BMW, Audi, or Porsche, but are drawn to Tesla's futuristic identity. Porsche buyers, in contrast, often seek heritage, exclusivity, and emotional driving pleasure. For them, the badge on the hood carries weight, symbolizing not just performance, but also success, craftsmanship, and continuity. These psychological factors mean that the two vehicles, despite competing in overlapping segments, may attract fundamentally different types of customers. Some overlap exists, especially among buyers who are curious about EVs but still crave prestige, yet for now Tesla and Porsche largely symbolize different cultural values. It is also worth analyzing how each company defines luxury. Tesla's minimalist interiors and focus on software may not offer the same tactile richness as Porsche's hand-stitched leather, polished metals, and traditional luxury details, but Tesla defines luxury in a different way: convenience, intelligence, and futuristic simplicity. For many modern buyers, luxury is no longer about how many buttons a car has or how soft the leather feels, but about how seamlessly the car integrates with their digital lives. Over-the-air updates, phone-as-key functionality, voice controls, and a massive central display that does everything from navigation to entertainment feel luxurious to a generation accustomed to smartphones. Porsche, however, sticks to the timeless formula of luxury as craftsmanship and driver-focused design. Their interiors feel like cockpits built for enthusiasts, with every button and control placed with precision. Both definitions of luxury are valid, but they appeal to different demographics. And this duality again makes the Tesla versus Porsche debate so compelling. It is less about one being universally better, and more about which definition of luxury aligns with a buyer's personal identity. Another major dimension to consider is performance sustainability. Tesla's Model Y performance can deliver supercar-like acceleration repeatedly, thanks to its dual-motor setup and sophisticated battery management system. But electric vehicles also face challenges such as heat buildup in sustained track use or heavy driving conditions. Porsche, with its motorsport background, places a strong emphasis on repeatable performance, ensuring that its cars can withstand demanding conditions without losing capability. The Taycan, for example, was praised for its ability to handle repeated acceleration runs and track use without the same thermal issues seen in some other EVs. If Porsche carries this philosophy into the Macan EV, it could create an SUV that combines the instant torque of Tesla with the consistency and endurance of Porsche engineering. Tesla is improving rapidly in this area too, with newer battery technologies and cooling systems addressing these concerns, but Porsche's emphasis on durability may appeal more to enthusiasts who want to push their cars to the limit without compromise. The global automotive landscape also adds weight to this comparison. Governments across the world are increasingly legislating towards full electrification, and this means that Tesla's all-electric lineup is perfectly positioned for growth, while Porsche must manage a more complex transition away from internal combustion engines. The current combustion Macan may soon face regulatory challenges in regions with strict emissions targets, while the Model Y performance is already compliant with future-focused policies. This gives Tesla a practical advantage for buyers who want to future-proof their purchase. Yet Porsche's strategy of offering both combustion and electric vehicles during the transition period ensures it retains traditional customers while preparing for the next era. It is a delicate balancing act, and how successfully Porsche navigates it will determine whether the Macan EV can become a true rival to Tesla's dominance. Price competitiveness also cannot be ignored. Tesla has consistently adjusted prices to remain accessible to a broad range of buyers, often surprising the market with sudden reductions that undercut competitors. This aggressive pricing strategy has made the Model Y one of the most popular EVs worldwide. Porsche, however, is unlikely to compete on price in the same way because its brand relies on exclusivity and premium positioning. A Porsche is supposed to feel more expensive, and its customers are often willing to pay for the badge, the heritage, and the craftsmanship. Tesla's pricing strategy may therefore allow it to dominate in sales numbers, while Porsche continues to serve a more niche, affluent market. This reflects the larger reality that Tesla is chasing volume and mass adoption, while Porsche is chasing exclusivity and brand prestige. In the end, whether the Tesla Model Y performance is better than a Porsche Macan depends not just on performance numbers, but on a much broader set of considerations including philosophy, lifestyle, values, and future readiness. The Tesla Model Y performance redefines what an SUV can be by combining shocking speed with practicality, digital intelligence, and a vision of sustainability. It is a car that feels like it belongs to the future and continues to improve even after you buy it. The Porsche Macan, meanwhile, remains one of the most enjoyable and prestigious combustion SUVs on the market, with driving dynamics and craftsmanship that Tesla cannot replicate in a traditional sense.